Hello, Nicoloff students. It's Mr. Jaime again, and just checking up again and seeing. Hopefully, you guys are doing good, staying safe and healthy. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about the Winter Olympics, and just because they are coming up next month, and it's a really big deal because it only happens one time every 4 years. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Now I know everything is a little bit hectic with this pandemic and just with COVID-19 and just that with everything that's happening in the world. But the Winter Olympics are scheduled to happen, and they're scheduled to start on February 4th to and they end February 20th. So they still are currently on the go. Now, I mean, I don't really have to explain. I mean, I don't think I do, but just in case, the Winter Olympics are just like Summer Olympics are a major international multi-sport event, and they're held every 4 years, which is just like the World Cup, which is highly valued by everybody and so many fans. And but anyways, so for, it's the win. It's titled as the Winter Olympic Sports because it's exclusively for sports practice on ice and snow. A little fun fact: the first Winter Olympic sports were held in Chamonix, France, and it was the year of 1942. Now, just giving you guys a little bit of background, a little bit of history on the Olympic Games. Just by the name, they were inspired by the games held in Olympia, Greece, and that's why they're called Olympic Games because that's where they were held. And this occurred in the 18th century BC to the 4th century AD, which this basically translates, or like if you want to understand it in a more simple way, it's just thousands of years ago. Basically saying that the Olympics are really old and they have been around for thousands of years. So there was this man named Baron Pierre de Coubertin who founded the International Olympic Committee, which is nowadays and it still exists. It's currently known as the IOC for short, for International Olympic Committee, and it was first founded in 1894. Which led up to the first modern Summer Olympics in Athens, in Greece, in 1896, and the IOC, which, as I have said again, stands for International Olympic Committee, is an organization and the governing body of the Olympics. Basically, they control everything. They're like the boss. They're the organization that give all the rules. Basically, for soccer, it's like FIFA. So they control all the refs and just judges. They basically call the shots and run the whole Olympics. The IOC. As I have said before, the IOC is the organization and the governing body of the Olympic movement, with the Olympic Charter defining its structure and authority. And basically, it's just as I have said, it decides the rules. And transitioning into what I'm leading into is how there was 5 original sports, and that's what the committee decided to first establish with like the Olympic sports, with five specific sports. Which the first one is bobsleigh, which basically it's like 4 guys going down like a tube real at a fast speeds. And there's curling, which, as you guys know, is curling, and then ice hockey, and there's also skiing, but there's different type of skiing. There's Nordic skiing and there's cross country, and the fifth one, which is skating, and there's also different types of skating, which are known as disciplines. Disciplines are the type of, basically, when you go more into detail of a certain, like when you specify more, like either speed or figure skating. Now I'm gonna go ahead and jump into a little bit of the history of the Winter Olympic sports. The games were, I have said before, were held every 4 years, from 1924 to 1936. So the first major established one was in 1924, and it lasted until 1936 because they were interrupted by World War II in the years of 1940 and then in 1944, which were years that the Olympics would have happened, but because of the war, well, for obvious reasons, they couldn't occur. But then the Olympics resumed in 1948. So until 1942, 1992, the Summer and Winter Olympics, they were held in the same year at the same time. So I'm assuming this was a little chaotic. So the IOC, as I have said again, or the International Olympic Committee, decided to separate them, giving each of them they're each 4 years, so of difference. Therefore, some like the Olympics, the Winter Olympics will happen in 4 years, and then the Summer Olympics will happen. There, that creates more of it's just it was just it's easier for the committee to work with and just helped everyone. One major important thing that I also want to mention regarding the Winter Olympic sports is that much has changed and evolved. Just like everything in the world, things change, especially sports. Different rules get created. Different players may even be added to a certain lineup. It's just everything's just adaptation and just proceeding and moving forward and progressing. But basically, what I want to get into is just the sports have some sports have been added, like such as and disciplines. Remember what I said, that disciplines are the style of the sport, just like figure skating and speed skating. So a lot of disciplines and different sports have been added, and they also have made their permanent spots, such as alpine skiing. Um, there's short track speed skating, freestyle skiing. There's this there's this Olympic sport called skeleton, which also has been permanently established. Snowboarding has definitely earned a permanent spot because it wasn't always there. Um, and curling now has kind of have been discontinued. It's sometimes reintroduced, but it's kind of a dying sport. I mean, also military patrol has been permanently discontinued. Because remember what I said. There's general sports like skiing, skating, and snowboarding. But then the discipline is what that diversifies them and gives them more options, either for show or for speed. But just in general, just things have changed. Just how everything does with sports. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the video. I mean, Winter Olympic sports are extremely interesting topic and will be for the whole entire month of February. I mean, they only happen every 4 years, but and I just want to talk a little bit also about how I know you guys hear this all the time, like 6 feet apart and everything, but I just want to go over the rules a little bit on safety precautions and for this pandemic that everyone is experiencing, the entire world. So just remember, just same thing. Always wear a mask if you're gonna be in a public area. Remember to keep your distance. And remember to wash your hands as much as possible. Just the basics. It can go a long way from preventing the spread of this illness, and it can even save lives. But I hope to see you guys soon. Stay safe and healthy, and hope you guys like the video. Thank you.